Red pillar, blue pillar, 360, 48 pillars of power. Let's go. Tuck the eighth, yeah, fuck the state, yeah, fuck the hate. My GPT is up to date, bitch, I fluctuate from left to right, from red to blue, from demon time to the net to ruse, from net to Yahoo to the head of Jews. Put the mops out, put the chops out. Brooklyn shooters took the ops out. Shooters go to Brooklyn chop house. Linen drops when they pop out. Linen socks out the box, brought the Crocs out. Lemonade drop when they hop out. Brought the Glocks out. Had a nigga pleading with the fifth like they copped out. They was in the school of hard knocks till they brains had to drop out. Stir fry Benihana's, pull the chops out. Break the broomstick, pull the mops out. Clean up on aisle 666, Cosmic Slop House. I'm a Don Dada, you a persona non grata. We are not the same, I attract goddesses. You known to drop some chains for thoughts for brains. Yeah, I could do magic and I ride foreigns. Bitch, I'm Doctor Strange, we are not the same.
360, look. I arrived on a spaceship that crashed on Earth. The Anunnaki to stop me, let's blast me first. Civilizations underwater and land and turf. Heard the preacher speak about me and I laughed in church. Scam from birth to Loch Ness. From out of bondage, Ivan Drago, the prophets. The headless horseman with rockets. The time shit for the conscious. Fighting with the accomplice. Goliath stomping the thief with bombs from outer Hamas. Atomic how I drop it. Knowledge on all the toxic. Admonish for the beef I once had with Colossus. Walking the road with a panther, clear of the Cathars. The greatest of the tales of Atlantis, ascended masters behind trying to catch us on your roof like Santa. I'm AI in his prime, y'all niggas know I'm the answer. Half y'all is cancer, don't get stabbed by the antlers on camera. Behind scenes for usage of grammar.
Rule of the iron swords around the wars. Shake the room up like winds, iron swords inside applause. Lion roars inside the Coliseum, bars of Thors. Made of iron ore, you trying or you firing off. Rule of the iron swords around the wars. Shake the room up like winds, iron swords inside applause. Lion roars inside the Coliseum, bars of Thors. Made of iron ore, you trying or you firing off.
It's cinematic once I pen and pad it. Enigmatic once it's in the tablet. I'm penning classics sitting in this traffic. Once I spit and wrap it in the plastic. Streaming to the masses, thus begins the magic. Yeah, the scenes are graphic. I'm seen in fabric, they're seen in graphics. From scenes and paintings of ancients, they're seen as savage. But some I manage to build like masons. You seen their campus? Monolithic stone structures. Facing stars, astrological placements like temples and luxors. Yeah, methodical observations. Yeah, the god of the ancients who hardened the patience that evolved into civilizations. They Hitler and Satan, they killers that's hating. We rebuke thee, the pillars erase them like kids in loose leaf. Never did we replace them. It's the inner movies, they the last of their generation. Their babies boom, then they ladies doom. The whole world about to look like it's Hades soon. Fuck these MFs as I play some doom and take my shrooms. Replay these tunes to shake these rooms, going schizo like they lace my boom.
Rule of the iron swords around the wars. Shake the room up like winds, iron swords inside applause. Lion roars inside the Coliseum, bars of Thors. Made of iron ore, you trying or you firing off. Rule of the iron swords around the wars. Shake the room up like winds, iron swords inside applause. Lion roars inside the Coliseum, bars of Thors. Made of iron ore, you trying or you firing off.
That's right. Don't drop the sword. Peace to the family, peace to the family, peace to you and yours, peace to you and yours, all right? That right there is Iron Swords off the 48 Pillars of Power. The 48 Pillars of Power. Make sure you go ahead and stream the album, beloved. Make sure you go ahead and get that album, beloved. You know what I'm talking about? Make sure you tap in and enjoy. We'll go to the website before the night is over. Let me put the banner up where you could go and get that right there. Black Cloud Entertainment Band Zoogle. Or if anybody was following us on Bandcamp, it's under the Twin Pillars on Bandcamp. You could stream that. We haven't put it on the DSPs as of yet. You have to go directly through the websites as it stands. We'll let you know when we have it on iTunes, Apple Music, Tidal, all of the slavery plantations that they got out there for the musicians that, we'll let you know when we do that. But that's coming up. We'll play the song at the end. You dig? Today, or rather tonight, we're gonna have a build Saturday Night Live. You feel me? Before we even have a build, before we get into the build, I want to do the roll call to give respect, honors, and adoration to everybody who's tapping in from around the world. You know what I mean? We definitely have to put that on record. You know what I'm saying? That's very important that we put that on record. So shout out to everybody tapping in, wherever you tapping in from. Salute to you. You know, a few things that we're gonna be chopping it up. First and foremost, shout out to Beloved. Shout out to my guy Loaded Lux. I just watched a classic. You know what I mean? My brother put on a classic and whatnot. Battle rap. I'm a battle rap aficionado. And the good brother, he definitely put on a classic battle, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to him doing that for the culture and whatnot. You feel me? So I appreciate that. You feel me? Salute to him. All right, salute to him. Mm, mm, mm. Oh, give me 1 second. I'm just trying to get this tingamajig up here. Boom. Mm. All right. So who do we have in the building tonight? Let's take roll call. We got Kansas City up in this thing. Shout out to Kansas City and whatnot. I don't think I visited Kansas City as of yet. That might have been one of the states that I haven't passed through. But I definitely have that on my calendar to make sure I touch the ground in Kansas one day, pass through the arc. Shout out to T Dot. It's always love. Shout out to the T Dot familiar. I'm talking about. Always Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Salute to y'all. We see you, Dallas, Fort Worth. We will definitely be seeing y'all one day very soon as we pass through Texas. You dig? Land of the Giants. Would that be Ohio by any chance? Portland, Oregon. Salute to Portland, Oregons. You already know it's not a show if South Carolina is not in the building. The Carolinas all together, you know what I mean? They always cover us. Salute to the Carolinas, the Geechee Gullah family, and all of the indigenous ancestral energy that runs through the grid over there. You know what I'm talking about? Northern California. Salute Phoenix. You dig? We see you, Phoenix. One of your boy Rumnitty got cooked and whatnot. But yeah, Phoenix. I see you, Phoenix. Turn up. Ohio. Yes. That is okay. So that's the land of the Giants. That's right. That's right. That's right. Akron, right? Akron, Ohio, where LeBron is from. The Giants. Yeah, I'm talking about. Yeah, you're gonna have to hit the binaurals after we finish this build. You feel me? We're gonna warm it up, and then you could most definitely go ahead and tap into the binaural beats. You feel me? So yes, sir. But yeah, man. Today's just a chill day for me. I really didn't do too much. I kind of took the week off. I had to recharge my batteries and just kind of get things in alignment before the beginning of this new season. As you know, when summer, the solstice is right around the corner. So there's a lot of work to be done before the season starts. So I'm just doing that. You feel me? I'm just doing my job. But yeah, today was no exception. Really spending time with family and stuff instead of running the streets. You dig? Okay, we got Baghdad, Iraq, and if Baghdad say that I'm on fire, my G, I'm on fire. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? It's lit. So we got Baghdad in the building. We got Ireland in the building. You feel me? We got T Dot in the building. Yeah, it's a global thing. Talk black to me. Hello. We got I can't even pronounce the shit, but they outside. Yeah, I mean, we in the building. Okay, Thieveland sliding. Okay, Thieveland. I see you, Petty Gibbs. You dig? That's what's up. Blah. You know what I mean? I see you. So yeah, Saturday Night Live. Shit. Some things that we need to talk about. Some things we need to talk about. I want to go right to my page. There's a video that I want to share just to give people a little bit of enlightenment. This lady right here, this is interesting. This lady right here. Let's check her out. So, this is the Dallas Mavericks owner, okay? She's the 44th richest woman in the world. And of course, she is a Zionist, right? And she is one of the main backers of your man, Donald Trump, right? The crowd favorite, Donald Trump, this polarizing figure who has managed to drive a wedge between melanated America, right? So now he's become the crowd favorite to an uneducated, I would think, populace who goes off of emotions and celebrity, and rightfully so, a populace or a race of people who've been through 4 years of a super duper lame duck president. So all they know is a reference to a president who came prior to that. And I mean, people have a slight sense of amnesia. um I think that they're in denial about the 4 years under Donald Trump. Me personally, I was on the front lines. I was outside, I was dealing with researching, we were doing a lot of lectures dealing with the Trump effect. The same way that we have the Cat Williams effect, I think that it is imperative that we talk about the Trump effect. You know, the Trump effect, there's a lot of factors, but what really stood out to me was the fact that, he represents a base of people who have real heavy mental health issues. I think narcissistic personality disorder, dark triad, dark tetrad, that American Psycho shit. It was amplified by him sitting in the Oval Office. He helped to, quote unquote, radicalize a large contingency of his base. That was 4 years ago. That was not 4 years ago. That was 2016 going up to what, 2020. And it's only mutated ever since then. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's only gotten worse. People have only gotten crazier. The level of carnage that we've been exposed to, it has only tripled. Things have been spiraling on a downward spiral, two wings of the same bird. I don't fall into the politics of this party versus that party. They both are compromised. They both are against the people. They both are tools of Tel Aviv. They're both on a leash. So what this video is showing, one, is one of the reasons why I can't wholeheartedly push the Dallas Mavericks to win the finals, because the owner of the Dallas Mavericks is not Mark Cuban. It's this lady right here, right? So there's a conflict of interest. I hate Boston. You know what I'm saying? Not the people of Boston. I just hate what Boston represents. However, you know what I mean? It's almost like the lesser of two evils. I don't have to endorse any team, but I rock with Jaylen Brown and I rock with Kyrie Irving. But, this is a political climate. This is a presidential political year. So it's only right that we teach those amongst us in our network about some of the underlying politics that are taking place, not on the surface per se, but right underneath the surface. So you have to be mindful about the energy that you put into the playoffs, or the energy that you put into these teams, or the energy that you put into the sports arena, because these black men have owners. They're not, this is not no melanated, Moorish, blackamoor, whatever you want to call it. This ain't some shit that we own. We're getting excited about employees, right? Who have owners. Like this lady right here, she's considered an owner. Yeah, Mark Cuban sold the Mavericks to this chick right here, the 44th richest woman in the world and the richest woman in Israel. Okay. She is a heavy duty Zionist. I'm talking about, she got a lot of blood on her hands, bro. You feel me? She's with all of the shits. You feel me? She is with all of the shits. She's pushing the needle super heavy to displace a lot of quote unquote people, and to push genocide on a contingency of people who, to be quite honest with you, these people, right? These inhabitants of the West Bank and the inhabitants of Gaza and whatnot, these are not my people personally, right? Let's just use that to put that out there. These are not my people personally. Um, but at the end of the day, once again, it's political, right? So even though these are not my people, it is my duty and it is my job. And as a reporter, I am what is considered to be the media. I'm also a reporter, I'm a journalist, and I'm also a researcher. And on top of that, I'm biased because I'm a lecturer, right? So my studies and what I've been researching for more than 10 years points to a humongous conflict of interest, because there's a fear of a blackamoor messiah amongst a group of people who have a lot of power and a lot of influence. And somehow, some way, those people have their hands in all of the affairs of the blackamoor messiahs, right? These are the people who are cosplaying, and these are the people who have taken the identity of, and these are the people who are in they are placeholders for what they call the lost tribes, right? They have taken the quote unquote birthrights and they ran with it. Okay. So with me knowing that, right? Talk to them. We got Drake in the building, we got Aubrey in the building. Talk to them, let them know, Aubrey, how we see this, right? They are they are surrounding, they surround our talent. They have us in their scopes. It's almost as if we're the batteries to this group of people who feast off of us and feed off of us and utilize our power and our energy to carry on a lot of their campaigns. I don't think people know how this thing works, right? But this group, this apartheid state, these maniacal group of people, they have to be stopped. I don't care what nobody says. And if we sit back and allow this shit to happen, if we sit back and aid in a bed them, if we sit back and act like none of this shit, because shit rolls downhill, if we fool ourselves and convince ourselves that once they ethnically cleanse those people, that they won't have the cojones or the testicular fortitude to try to push it on our people. I don't, in the next 50 to 100 years, I don't, I just don't know what to say. I don't know how to convince the people to pay more attention to this group of people who historically, from the quote unquote, whether there were slave ships or not, what I do know, if that whole story that they sold us wasn't 100% true, whatever truth that was true, these people had their hands in it. Okay, they were the insurers. Okay, they had something to do financially with the moving of or the quote unquote human trafficking that took place in the 1800s and in the 1700s and in the 1900s. Their hands was a part of that. They were, the first melanated bodies who were sold and whatnot were insured by Aetna insurance companies that originate in Connecticut, right? Who do you think was behind that? It's these people. Who do you think was behind the when the Moors got double crossed and whatnot in Spain, the capitulation of the Sephardic Jews and the capitulation of the Moors and whatnot? Who do you think were the double crossers back then? It was those people right here. Okay. It's a long history. And I don't have the time tonight to get into it. We have visited this topic on many occasions off of YouTube. Some because this conversation that I'm having right now is too hot for YouTube. I'm on a tightrope as it is, right? And I wish to keep this channel. So we have these conversations on Patreon, behind the paywall, on Zoom, in places that we deem to be encrypted, even though they're still listening and whatnot. The level of censorship is not the same outside of YouTube than it is on YouTube. So it's but so much that we could talk about. But you know what it is. I mean, if you claim to be enlightened, I mean, for the namastes out there, for the tree huggers and the highly enlightened ones and whatnot. I mean, I'm asking you, don't be so enlightened that you don't want to learn. Don't be so enlightened that you close yourself off from learning about regular, shit that's going on the planet, on the earth. Because think about it. You spiritual and all of that. You on your journey, right? Salute to you, because I'm not going to be condescending whatsoever. I do have a dark sense of humor, and I'm in my red pill era, so I get online. I get on. I poke the bear, right? However, if you have incarnated into this reality, right? And then you decided that you wanted to, remember, put yourself back together, and then go on what they call the spiritual journey. There are many obstacles that are trying to take you off of your spiritual path. There are many obstacles. There are many quote unquote traps that have been laid out on this prison planet. Keep in mind, none of us are perfect on this planet. We have all descended. That's why we're here. This is the last level. This is not the last rung, but if this was a ladder, we are on the bottom tier of a ladder that we once was on the top ladder. We were once at our heights when we were in our higher self. This is a prison planet. This planet that we all are on is it's a university, it's a school. It's almost like detention. Nobody should be relishing in the life that you live in on this planet, because this life ain't about shit, bro. Don't get fooled by the flesh. Don't get fooled by stimuli. Don't get fooled by what they try to sell you where you could be high on the hog. This shit is purgatory. Okay. And if you continue to descend, if you continue to quote unquote roll in the mud and relish in the quote unquote trappings, that's why they call it the trappings of materialism, you will be trapped here. You will reincarnate as a roach, okay, or a lizard or a dog. And the people who are laying these traps, whether it be pornography, whether it be this quote unquote materialism, this overindulgence in the flesh and the materialism, these people who have turned the average human being into a mindless consumer, these people play a prominent part in that. They're not the ones who are trying to break you up out of this bitch right here. They're not the ones who are trying to help you to ascend. And there's two people on this planet is people that's helping you to ascend, and there's those that are aiding and abetting you in your descent. You have to be able to identify who's who. It has nothing to do with a race. It has nothing to do with a color. It has nothing to do with a tax bracket. It don't got nothing to do with where you born. None of that. Don't fall for that one either. However, there's evidence that proves that there are groups of people who have taken oaths, who have given their lives over to certain type of entities, right? They've been possessed by certain type of entities who, are inside of these dogmatic religions, inside of these books and whatnot. And these entities or these people are helping to assist this fallen angel energy to trap you, to take your soul, to curse you in a sense. Okay? So let's be clear about this. And I'm not just talking about regular people with hook noses and whatnot. I'm specifically speaking to the evangelical Christians, the Christian Zionists. I'm speaking to the Zionists, these people who read out of this book, who basically look at me and you as cannon fodder, useless eaters, or what they call the goyim. Right? So I'm on high alerts when it comes to shit like that because I don't want to be here forever. I don't want to be here forever. I don't want to be trapped on this plane of existence. This is not heaven on earth. Don't fall for it. Don't get duped into it. Don't think that you getting your toes licked and sensory overload or what they call stimuli, the ego. None of that shit is real. And everybody who's out here trying to make it seem like it's real is a op when you really on your journey. Now, when you're not on your journey and you just an NPC or what they call an 85er or a knuckle dragger, you're good. This shit is like a pig in a motherfucking pig pen. Roll in the mud, my nigga. Get right. You feel me? Get right. There's nothing that me or anybody else could tell you because you're not ready. It's when you're ready. That's when they say when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. Well, when the spirit is ready, the spirit guides will appear. Okay. When the spirit is ready, then the spirit guides will appear. Now, your spirit guides don't look like Clive Davis. Your spirit guides is not Netanyahu. Your spirit guides is not Shorty with the hook nose who own the Dallas Mavericks. They will have you believe that. These people are very cunning, bro. Very cunning. I don't know if you ever danced with them before. If you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight, they are some wicked, conniving people. Will have you thinking that these are your allies. They're gonna trauma bomb with you. They know more about you than you may know about yourself. They have attachments to them. They have psychic powers, and it's not because they have supernormal powers. They have attachments. They have entities that are attached to them They could probably do mundane shit like, read your palm and, give you a little reading. That shit is not, don't get gassed up by that. That's not a flex, bro. That's not a flex. That's nothing. That is not a flex, bro. Y'all be giving mad praises. Oh my goodness, she read my palm. She didn't read your palm. The entity that's attached to her read your palm. Nigga, she's possessed. And that goes for this community and any fucking community out there. Stop falling for the okie doke. It's time to really be real about this. All of that tarot and I'm doing this reading and I could tell your past life. You got to be careful with those people. You don't know who you dealing with because they don't even know who they dealing with. Most of them. They don't even know who they got attachments, bro. That's not them. There's something attached to them that's doing that for them. It's not them. All of that talking in tongues and all of that, bruh. You got to be mindful about what's going on around you right now. You feel me? It's a lot of people that's running around possessed and they running around like they got gifts and whatnot. No, nigga, you got curse. You got curses. All of these walk-ins. So if you're on the internet playing around and you got these succubus and you got these incubus jumping through your computer because you got holes in your aura and whatnot, especially the fellas. Like I said, I had a sister. She don't really want to come on the internet like that. She be talking to me, but she's camera shy. That's why I gotta do these things with no camera right now to give people the quote unquote courage. Cause she'll probably talk, she don't want to be on camera, but she'll talk like this, how we talking right now. And I'm comfortable. I like this right here. Cause like I said before, that camera shit, it's a lot of ego in the camera. We don't need that all the time. We could just feel each other and hear each other. She said to me, she said that when she came to Atlanta, she came from New Orleans, right? And she was doing exorcisms in New Orleans. But she said when she came to Atlanta, she has not have, she said she casted out more demon spirits or more evil entities in Atlanta. And she said in 1 month, she did more work than she did in the 3 years that she was in New Orleans. She was like, the possession in Atlanta is crazy. And she said one of the main things with the men that she's coming across is that they have no legs. And what that means in spiritual talk is that all of their lower chakras is completely blown out. Okay? They don't have no legs because they have succumbed to lust. So they don't have no control over their lower chakras. So they have walk-ins. The entities are walking right through them. These niggas have skipped spiritual leg day. They don't have no strong, they don't have a foundation to stand on because they have no discipline. And Atlanta is a land of lust. Okay? It's a land of lust. This is a sexual perversion capital. They have sex parties and warehouses. Do you understand what that means? Right? They have warehouses where they have full orgies, sex parties. These niggas are talking about the Diddy party and trying to clown them, but the whole Atlanta is turned out. What are they talking about? Like Diddy learned that shit from Atlanta. Okay? He leveled up in Atlanta with the perversion because that's what this city is about. They try to paint it to you. Oh, Magic City, the mayor goes to Magic City, pinups. Oh, KOD, King of Diamonds. Oh, the titties and the ass. It's just great out here. The BBLs, it's the land of the BBLs. That's talking to your carnal self, right? That's pitching to your lower self. That's pitching to the stimulus person, the stimuli. That's pitching to a part of you that has not fully, quote unquote, matured yet. Right? Anybody with the right ears will hear that and you'll hear what the fuck they're trying to sell you. So you come out here, Lord forbid you come with your wife or your family and whatnot. You come out here and they tell you to indulge, right? But they're not telling you to come out here to get on your journey, though. They're not coming out here to teach you how to detach. They're not coming out here to teach you how to sacrifice. They're not coming out here and say, yo, you low key, you could come out to Atlanta and be a master. You can master your spirituality because there's so much temptation. And as long as you're able to resist, as long as you're able to stay focused, and as long as you're able to build up your legs and whatnot, you will walk through the valley of death. You could walk through a room full of vultures. You're going to walk past the housewives and not be tempted. You're going to walk past the BBLs and not be tempted. You're going to be able to move around this bitch, but you're going to attract so many demons because of your light. They are outside. They got day walkers now. Prior to when I first came out here, the ghouls and the goblins came out at night. Because keep in mind, Atlanta is an enchanted forest on top of a crystal, right? This shit, if anybody's in the A, you always driving upwards. This thing is sitting on, this is a crystal. It's sitting on pure quartz, right? They got red clay. This is an enchanted forest. And inside of a forest, this enchanted, you have ghouls and goblins, and you also got fairies and other things. But you got the ghouls and the goblins. The ghouls and the goblins used to come out at night out here. Now they come out in the daytime. So you got day walkers in Atlanta in the daytime. When the sun is at its heights, the demons is outside. You know that this shit is over flooded. You know how they be like, Atlanta's crowded. Yeah, nigga, it's crowded with demons. Keep that in mind. It's crowded with demonic spirits. These are day walkers. They got day walkers out here. Be mindful of that. Shit that Wesley Snipes and them was going after with Blade. They outside. So they encourage you to indulge, be in your carnal self, be in your red chakra, be in your root chakra out here. You just skeet, skeet, skeet. You know what I mean? Skeet, skeet, skeet. Go get some wings with ranch and whatnot, and look at tits and ass all day, right? But in those same places that you are watching these women on poles and whatnot, in the back of those clubs, they are trafficking, right? They have young women. You know, y'all want to talk about the Diddy shit. Well, let's talk about it. Inside of the strip clubs, there's teeny boppers. There's little girls with fake IDs acting like they're grown and whatnot because the 18 and the 16 and the 15 and the 14-year-olds, they don't look like the 14-year-olds of my day. They're a little more mature looking these days. You know what I'm talking about? And they got fake IDs and they running around selling box all day, right? And people are buying it. You feel me? This place is not what you think it is. It is not what you think it is. Somebody sent me a list, bro. I don't even want to. They sent me a list the other day, and you know, I'll show the list, but I ain't gonna show it right now. But they sent me a list of predators in the not the conscious community, but the art community. There's a black art community. There's a underground hip hop community. There's a lot of different communities because I've told people before there's 10 Atlantas. You come to Atlanta, there's 10 different Atlantas. There's not one Atlanta, there's about 10 of them. And probably you could relate if you come from a big city that has multiple sub levels to it. But there's subcultures in Atlanta. There are subcultures in Atlanta. There's about 10 different subcultures in Atlanta and the ATL and whatnot. So I saw a list of about 300 names, yo. I'll shit you not. I shit you not, because they was showing all of the abusers. These, I don't even know these people, but it was mad people, bro. I'm talking, y'all. See that what I have to be careful, because the reason why I won't show the list at the moment is because I don't know certain people. I don't know 99% of the people on the list. So I have to cross-reference this list with people who know these people so I don't slander anybody. Because if I put somebody's name out there, it could ruin their life. I had a brother run down on me. This nigga was running down on me. He ran down on me like 3 times, bro, to the point where I was like, fam, like, are you okay? You know what I'm talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? But long story short, a friend of mine, like 3 years ago, a friend of mine who I trust dearly, she sent me a SOS of it was involved with a man who it was her. Okay, let me. It's her friend, a woman. The father, they have a custody battle with the child. The father allegedly did not return the child after the quote unquote visit. So I wake up one morning, I go to my phone, I see the SOS. Oh, child missing. Can you repost this, please, brother Red? We need help. This child hasn't come back. The father is not answering the phone. La, 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 la. So, me being the nice person that I am, the concerned parent that I am, I reposted it. And, you know, people they was tagging the bro. They tagged this. They tagged this job because she gave me his at. So I added him in the stories like, yo, bring the child back, bro. You know what I mean? Don't let us come get you. And then he basically he got in trouble with his job. I don't know if he got fired and whatnot, but make a long story short, he caught up with me 3 years later and was like, yo, you ruined my life with that post. I was just with my child. I wasn't doing anything. Da 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 da. Da. So I was like, fam, at the end of the day, I was doing what I was asked to do. You feel me? I don't know you like that. You know what I mean? If somebody tells me that there's some danger and a child is involved, I'm going to, I'm gonna act on that. So what that made me realize, right? And I apologize to him. We manned it up. You know what I'm saying? We handled it like men and whatnot. He was kind of he was still pissed off, but I understood why, right? But it made me realize the power of my platform to whereas I can't be jumping out the window and doing things until I do thorough research on it. You feel me? Have to be responsible because if somebody did that to me, you damn right, I'm going to act a fool. I'm not going to take that lightly. Okay? So sometimes you have to be mindful of when you're helping people out that you're not getting played to be that person in the middle when it's some shit that's deeper than what you even think it is. You know what I mean? And I'm not, I'm able to admit that. I'm able to admit that. You know what I mean? It was a bad call. You feel me? But at least I know that the child wasn't harmed and everything worked out and whatnot. And we life goes on. So I will not put the list on I won't broadcast the list because I don't want to destroy nobody's life and whatnot. But I'm definitely gonna put that list out there once I do the checks and balances and make sure that everything is on an up and an up. And there's not just somebody putting out mad names because they don't like these people or they're slandering people or they're trying to throw cases or they're trying to smudge somebody's name because if people put that on your jacket that you are a predator or you down with SA and shit like that, you can't clean that off your jacket. That shit is a stain. But I promise you, I saw hundreds of names, and this is some Atlanta shit. It's crazy out here. That's why I've been telling people they be hitting me up trying to move out here. I'm like, shit, you can move out here. But when you move out here, just know that this ain't what you think it is. You can move out here, but you better move out here and move cautiously. This is not what you think it is. I tell them what it is. It's an enchanted forest on top of a crystal. Do what thou wilt, my nigga. You know what I mean? Take that and do what you do with it. But shit be going down out here. Things ain't what it seems out here. It's a lot of this is this night. It's a narco state. First of all, what does that mean? That means that this state, the underlying quote unquote economy of the state is drugs, heavy drugs, right? All type of drugs. There's a whole economy. The soft underbelly of the city is prostitution, drugs, and trafficking of everything, whether it may be firearms, substances, bodies, body parts. This shit is crazy, bro. Hmm. And everyone has dirty hands because the everyone sleeps with the prostitutes. The politicians sleep with the prostitutes, the actors and the actresses and the rappers, the athletes, everybody's what they call the strippers, which are the prostitutes now. They might have been the strippers before, but now they the prostitutes. Okay. So everybody's sleeping with the same demons. And it just spreading all of that amongst each other. This shit dirty, bro. I did visit Savannah with the Spanish moss and all that. Yeah, you and I said all of this, and we still didn't get into the funny, like that's that and the LBGT thing is heavy out here too, and they play a big part in all of that because they with all of the shits, you know what I mean? They're the ones who keep all the secrets. You don't see them outing anybody. Why is that? You got all of these quote unquote expose channels. Look how many channels have exploded. Tisa tells, there's all of these expose channels. The only person with a broken wrist that's doing gossip is Jason Lee, right? But all of them know everything. All of the hairdressers, all of them niggas that do nail, the nail tech niggas, the niggas with BBLs, all of them, they all know everybody's dirt. They all know where the bodies are buried. They know because they be in the under. They be in the fucking Dumbo. They be in the bunkers. They be in the bunkers, and they don't talk. They don't kiss and tell. They keep secrets. That's a very secretive society. The alphabet people, right? Those proud people. They keep all of the secret. They know everything that we just finding out. Okay, they know it. As you can see, when it came to the Drake thing with the dog in the hotel, the Mark Hotel, I believe it was called, right? And they had that group with the ebony people. Those were the rainbow children, right? Those were the rainbow kids because in Manhattan, specifically in the village, in the East Village in New York, I don't know how many people have been to New York, but going back, let's go back to like, and this shit ties into like Puffy and whatnot, and the P Diddy and his underground or his underworld thing. But this goes back to like early 90s, right? Before this counterculture became accepted, right? The counterculture was young black boys with like they were thugged out, but they was alternative lifestyle, right? What they call homo thugs. They came to their rise and prominent by being the boy toys in the East Village, like Greenwich Village, what they call in New York City. The Village is like downtown Manhattan, where it's basically Rome. It's where the Romans are, rich Romans. So the kids from the hood, like Harlem and the Bronx, poor niggas, right? They came and got sugar daddies or sugar zaddies in the village, and they began to groom them. That's how you seen them get, that's how you saw the explosion of alternative lifestyle people working in the Gap, working all of these stores. They flooded retail with them, right? They start giving them all of these positions in retail because the power brokers live in the village. You understand? These are like the Vanderbilts. I'm talking about old money, big old money. You might even fucking Rothschild type shit. You know what I'm talking about? All up in the village and whatnot. So yeah, the Vogue niggas, right? The houses, they have like the houses and whatnot. So we talking about Broadway with the theater. We talking about Broadway. We talking about the fashion houses, Fashion Institute, and everything. We talking about Broadway because Broadway is your ticket to Hollywood from New York. You get into Hollywood and you get into TV and television through Broadway, and you already know Broadway. That's they shit. That's their layers and whatnot. But they use power and prestige to seduce poor people everywhere that they go. And then the poor people are their minions. Those are their minions. Those are their quote unquote, those are their pawns and whatnot. Those are the people that they use as their recruiters. They the ones that hold the secrets, and they put them up. They put these niggas up. They put them up in these hotels. They put them up in these little fancy spots and whatnot. And that's how they came up over the years to where now they have economic power and they're basically locked into the industry. So when P. Diddy, who is the golden child of that type of setup, because one of the biggest blades in New York City, for that matter, one of the biggest blades walking the fucking blade is Clive Davis, right? And he was the one who put up Andre Harrell, and then he put, yeah, Basquiat, right? You saw what happened with Basquiat. Basquiat got put up by Andy Warhol and whatnot, right? That's right in the village. That's what you see in the art world. So you have the art world, you got the theater, you got fashion, and you got music, right? Because they was doing it with Fab Five Freddy. They was doing, you said West Hollywood too? Yeah, wherever the small hats is at. Wherever the small hats is really dominating what, like where they call home, that's where you see they set up this whole thing. It's like Interview with a Vampire. Think Underworld. Think Interview with a Vampire, because it's literally them biting somebody who goes out and bites somebody else. It's that in so many ways. I'm simplifying it, but if you wanted to give it some type of reference, well, Interview with a Vampire. Remember when they bit the little girl, when they turned the little girl out and made her a vampire? When Brad Pitt, he turned her out and she was a young woman forever, right? That's what you see with these people and whatnot. They're turning out these young boys and whatnot, and these young boys turn out other young boys, and it's a vicious cycle. Atlanta murders of 19. Yes. Okay. So the Atlanta child murders. Thank Louise. The Atlanta child murders of the late 70s and the early 80s. That was the ritual to set a lot of this quote unquote trafficking and what we see heinous. I'm talking heinous shit that you can't fathom. Jeffrey Dahmer type shit. That started in Atlanta. It was Steve Coakley. Bobby Hemmett touched on this. And if my memory serves me correct, it was also Dick Gregory who was giving us the breakdown of the Atlanta child murders, because they were reading the crime, they were reading the police reports, they were going beneath the surface. Even the documentaries that you see on Netflix, the documentaries that none of these quote unquote documentary, I have not heard a correct story or a correct breakdown about what the hell was going on with the Atlanta child murders. They are skimming the surface when they report it to you. They're not giving you the true crime. They're not giving you the details. They're not giving you the disgust. I mean, it's not for weak stomachs. They was doing them children dirty, y'all. I'm talking about they were doing grand rituals on these little black boys, yo. And when I did the meditation, when I did the reading, it was told to me that the KKK was taking them boys to a side of Stone Mountain that's cut off from the public. Because if you don't know about Stone Mountain was where the KKK, they own Stone Mountain. They have their Confederate soldiers carved on the side of the mountain. The biggest carving of a base bas relief, right? The biggest stone carving on a mountain in the world is on Stone Mountain, and it's the Confederates, Robert E. Lee, and all of these people. So the equivalent of Hitler and Leopold and them on the side of a mountain. And then the way that they allow you to walk the mountain is so huge that there's parts of the mountain that are completely blocked off and roped off. So it's like the dark side of the moon. There's parts of the mountain that you cannot go on, but they have train tracks, right? There's trucks that could go up the mountain, because if anybody went on the mountain with us, the goddamn trucks came up the mountain. The shit was on a they had like white Bronco trucks coming up the mountain and whatnot when we was up there just to look at us. So Spirit told me that they was taking them little boys up that mountain and doing the rituals on Stone Mountain, and then taking the bodies and dumping them and other, because they couldn't leave no traces on the mountain. You know what I mean? So they had them. They was doing their rituals. They was doing their blood sacrifices. They was doing their ceremonies, and then they would discard of the cadavers and whatnot in different places around the A, which put a fear. Children did not want to come outside. Yeah, they blamed it on Wayne Williams, but bro, the evidence points that it was not Wayne Williams. It was not Wayne Williams. He didn't do all of that. You feel me? That was the KK. There was some Europeans that did that. Okay, it was some Europeans that did that. Yeah, they were stealing the pineal glands for melatonin. Yeah, because they were cutting off parts of the phallus. You know what I mean? It goes deep, bro. It goes deep. It goes deep. And when I lived, you know, I live on Moreland Ave, right? And Thomasville Projects was right near where we got our house. You feel me? And they was taking them children out of Thomasville. And if anybody knows anything about Thomasville, Thomasville is the hood. Like it's some rough, you know what I mean? The Thomasville ain't no joke. Like that's the trenches for real, for real. And they were finding the children in them creeks, because Thomasville got it got creeks and whatnot. Atlanta in and of itself is just mad Indian trails, creeks, and wooded areas. They just started knocking down these wooded areas and making these subdivisions in places like Conyers and Stonecrest and all of this. This shit wasn't populated like that before. This was a bunch of fucking woods. And this was a bunch of white people living out here. You know what I'm talking about? As the city began to explode and expand, those Europeans move further back into the woods, and then they leave their real estate for the blacks to move into. You know what I mean? So when you come out here and you tapping into that lower, and you tapping into that underground sex trafficking, sadomasochist, dominatrix, dungeon, sex warehouses, sex parties, you are skimming the surface of a real dark underworld that you have to be very, very mind. You want to scratch your itch, huh? Well, then you gonna get your shit scratched for real, for real. You better be careful playing around in Atlanta, because your ass may wake up in Romania one day. You understand? They put some shit in your drink and get your ass right up in that airport. You be in Czech, you be in Ukraine fucking around, or you be in Tel Aviv the next day and don't know how you got there. Stop playing. This place is not nowhere to play. This place is not nowhere to sleep on. This shit, you gotta be on your quote unquote game. You don't sound too biased when it comes to Trump. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? I'll entertain that. What are you talking about? You know, this is really it's cute and everything. It's ooh, this is the Housewives Atlanta. Ooh, you know, it's the same. It's exactly what you see in the reality shows. A bunch of makeup on some ugly ass faces. A bunch of BBLs on some bad bodies. That's what Atlanta is. Okay. It's a lot of veneers on some bad teeth. So it's a lot of covering up. It's putting lipstick on a pig. It's a lot of that going on where you put a fucking lipstick on a pig, or you try to put a you put a suit on. You try to put a white tuxedo on, but you don't take a shower. Type shit. You know what I mean? Everything has these filters on them. They got these filters to have a perception of opulence, but underneath the filter is filth. Underneath the filter is maggots. Underneath the filter is some decaying shit, bro. Keep in mind. And of course, you got the pastors. They grab ankles. Most of them, you know, they touch toes and whatnot. They're down with the underworld of the quote unquote the alphabet people, because they got turned out in Morehouse. They got turned out in the fraternities. They got turned out in the colleges and whatnot. These colleges, Spelman is named after a European lady. All of these colleges with these boule organizations and whatnot. This shit been going on for a long time. This shit been going on for a long time. So they turn them out all the way back in college, and then they funnel them through this quote unquote good old boy system where they position them as lawyers, they position them as insurance, they position them in politics or politics, but it's all designed to put these niggas in that place. Like the nigga Gilliam, right? Remember the Andrew Gilliam? Right? He was a politician everybody believed in and whatnot. What come to find out, he was getting his shit smacked. You know what I'm talking about? He was one of them people, right? That's what you got. This is Gomorrah with an extra side of Sodom. Don't be fooled, man. Do not be fooled by it. I shit you not. And I'm not on some old Yankee shit where it's a New York nigga trying to call things out. Bruh, I don't give a fuck where I could be in El Segundo, my nigga. I'm gonna research whatever grid that I'm on. I'm a researcher. I'm a I'm a journalist. I'm an investigator. So my investigative reporting is what I share with my network, because I am here to inform. I am not biased. I don't have nothing against, because you can't blame it on Atlanta. The Red Clay didn't do it. But if everybody thought that this shit was, that there was no work to be done out here, that this was just a land of milk and honey, I have another thing coming to you. I just want to inform you that that is not what we're dealing with. It is a balanced place. Yes, there's some beautiful things. The environment is beautiful. The quote unquote everything. Once again, it's an enchanted forest. So in an enchanted forest, you'll see many, many things. But keep in mind, the devil was a bad bitch. And the devil was tall, dark, and handsome too. Or what they would call, if you believe in the mythos, Lucifer, or these demonic spirits, they come to you with illusion and whatnot. So what may look good on the outside is not necessarily that when it all boils down to it. You know what I mean? How many souls did Atlanta demolish and spit out over the quote unquote few decades? How many? How many? You know what I'm talking about? It eats them up. Did Beloved raise the culture tonight? Yes. Yes, he did. Beloved cooked. You feel me? Beloved cooked. Made me proud. Beloved showed up. You know what I'm talking about? We'll go to Beloved in a minute. Shout out to Loaded Lux. You dig? The Bible got some serious spells over our women. You damn right it do. A lot of blood was spilled on them books. A lot of rituals. You feel me? A lot of sex magic. A lot of, you feel me? A whole lot. So it's somewhat locked in. Somewhat locked in. It's very hard to break that spell. Me personally, and I'm just gonna speak it on my behalf. For anybody, for anybody, like the stakes are way too high to not be on a strict spiritual path right now. It's gonna take a lot for me to really walk that walk fully because I'm not gonna do it halfway. I can't afford to. Can't afford to. But knowing what I see and what I'm feeling and what I'm hearing and what's going down, the best thing that I can do, because I'm not going to get on here and get all preachy, speechy, and whatnot, and I'm not going to lead by example. The best thing that I could do in my journey is just to be more about my spiritual development. And that is going to take a sacrifice. So I have to decide, what am I going to give up? Because we all have karmatic debts to pay, and you're going to have to pay them. And if you don't pay your debt, your children might have to pay your debts. You're not going to wiggle your way out of this because you signed up to be a part of this. So we all are on our separate journey. Nobody can't help me, and I can't help nobody. I can't hold your hand. No. I wasn't there when you was born. I'm not going to be there when you die. And that's likewise vice versa. So we are all on this journey on our own. You could be a crutch. You could help me when I fall, and you can encourage, but you can't help me. I can only help myself. That's a fact. I can only help myself. And there's decisions that I make that I'm going to have to live with. And there's decisions that you make that you're going to live with and that you're living with right now. So I can't do no reading for you because I can't help you. What the fuck? Don't trust nobody. Nobody can't. What is a reading going to do for you? You know what needs to be done. Don't let nobody read you and try to tell you nothing. Because once again, you can't tell if it's that person reading you or if that's an entity on that person reading you. Because niggas got attachments. They playing on these computers. They playing around in these spaces where shit is jumping all on them. They laying up with prostitutes. They rolling in the mud, and you don't think that you got nothing when you walk out of there. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Niggas got work to do. Am I going to be a vendor at the gathering of the masters? Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. I'm thinking about an after party. A lot of people are coming to me saying that they want an after party. They want to turn up and whatnot. So I'm going to talk to my brother Rich because I don't want to make no moves without, talking to the bro because he's putting it together and I don't move like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't move like that. So I'll let y'all know what it is. What's the groovy ghouls? Whatnot. To be honest with you, I ain't see nothing, but I seen everything that I needed to see. You understand? I've seen everything that I need to see to know what I'm dealing with and to know how to move from how to move. You got to move through this city, and not become a victim of it. This city swallows people up whole and spits them out, bro. They send people packing. You know what I mean? Atlanta sends people packing, bro. I shit you not, you know. So there's obviously something going on out here that motherfuckers come out here and they get packed up and they get sent home either with their head missing or with their tails tucked. Shit is real, bro. You know, the stakes are high and you could play with it if you want. But like I said, nobody's gonna save you. Nobody's gonna save you, bro. You gotta save yourself. So stay focused, move around with wild discernment. Move around with wild discernment and don't let nobody lead you. You gotta lead yourself. You literally gotta lead yourself. You cannot let nobody lead you because you're giving power to motherfuckers that you don't know. You don't know. Hmm. Everybody got a history. You don't know who you dealing with. Don't stop putting your power in people's hands and whatnot. Take your power back. You feel me? It's not worth it. They can't do nothing for you. They not even doing nothing for themselves to keep it 1,000. So I'm just putting that out there. You know, a lot of, and you got to decide on what doctrine you're going to live with. Because one of the things about this new era is that you're getting bombarded with doctrines and dogma, and it's pulling you literally, this is where possession comes in. This is where possession comes in. You're going to waste. If you spread yourself too thin, you're trying to do 8 things at once. One day you are the Anunnaki. The next day you're the Yoruba. The next day, you come from Sirius B. The next day, it's Islam on Friday. Islam mo, you know what I mean? Then another day, it's the Israelites. Like you're being pulled in so many different directions. Your magic is not going to work. You're going to waste years of your life and not accomplish zero because you have not locked in to a doctrine. You should close your ears off to all of these different doctrines and pick one. You can't be two. It could only be one. That's how you gotta, not to say that you can't entertain the information from other things, but people are out here in limbo floating around. You're being passed around like a thought or a fucking blunt in a 20v1 cipher. You're not doing nothing. You're on a fucking hamster wheel of a bandwagon, and that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. I'm just leaving that with you. That's not what it's about. You know, this deluge of information, it's not good. It's leading to a lot of confusion, Confucius. You know what I mean? This self-anointing that everybody is self-anointed and everybody can read you and everybody's a master. Let me just put this on the record. I am not the master of anything. I am not a master teacher. I don't consider myself no type of title. I don't have any of those titles. I am none of that. Okay? I am none of that. I don't ever want nobody to confuse me with any of that. I will never use that type of language. I'm a student. You feel me? I'm just a student. That's the only thing that I can identify with. A practitioner. But I ain't no master of nothing. You know, I wouldn't dare say no shit like that. Mm-mm. You know, way too much ego these days. You know, way too much. I'm just a teacher, to be honest with you. That I could go with that. But to say master teacher, nah, I'm not. I won't identify as that. you know. And that's cool. It's nothing, it doesn't take anything away from what I do. I didn't feel no type of way saying that. I'm not losing anything. I'm good. But that's not motherfuckers they get big headed. They start believing shit. Then they start becoming I'm a guru. I'm the most what was my nigga saying? I mean, the shit was crazy, man. The rundown, the certain people who were self-anointed was giving themselves that it's crazy. It's crazy. And I've seen all of these self-appointed gurus and leaders and all of this. The fall from that fall is a very, very, it's like falling from the Empire State Building. It's like tripping on Mount Kilimanjaro on a banana peel. It's a very far fall, yo. I'm good on that. You know what I'm talking about? I'm so good on that. And it's so easy to get caught up in that on the internet, but I'm good on that, bro. Niggas can have that one. I'm good on that. You know, that's not it. But let's talk about Beloved. Let's switch gears and let's get into some battle rap for all of my battle rap fans out there. We are protectorates of Beloved, aka Loaded Lux. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the family right here. So today was one of his biggest battles. You know what I mean? They've been sleeping on him. You know what I'm saying? They've been sleeping on Lux in the battle rap arena. They've been saying that he fell off. And, his acolytes, or rather the people who were his students, right? This is a great example, too, a learning lesson. Rule number one, you can't outshine the master. You feel me? You can't outshine the master. One of the reasons why this community fell to pieces is because the students, right, the rum nitties and whatnot, who used to adore their quote unquote teachers, right? Their teachers, right? Because that's all Lux is he's a teacher of many different students. They would call him the father of certain styles and whatnot. But his students became full of ego, and rightfully so. In battle rap, you have to have some type of chip on your shoulder to compete. It's very ego driven and whatnot. You have to see yourself as the Neo. You are the one. There's nobody better than you. There's nobody that could take you down. None of that. Even if you have a teacher who is better than you, like in martial arts and whatnot. Imagine you sitting back thinking that you can take down the Sifu. So he had a battle today on a big stage and whatnot, night of main events, and he went up against Rum Nitty, aka the Alien. And if anybody knows the kind of work that Rum Nitty does, he's a killer. You know what I'm talking about? He's a he don't play. His pen is dangerous. He punches your lights out. He's an alien for real. He take but Beloved, I believe he had a loss in his family recently. A brother of his made transition. So, son was locked in and he got his redemption. You know what I mean? He came and he delivered, you know what I mean? And yeah, he put in some work. So shout out to Beloved, you know what I mean? Yeah, you're gonna get this work. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to Beloved for making us proud of him. Hold on. Light work. Talk to him. If anybody knows, we love that battle rap over here. That's one of my favorite pastime sports. It's one of my favorite pastime sports. And I love when the underdog gets to shine. And I also love when, people who have, because, Lux has gone through a roller coaster of support from this Smack DVD, Smack URL audience and whatnot, where they written my boy off. They try to say he washed up, he should quit, and all of this stuff. So it's beautiful. It's poetic justice when you get that W. You You feel me? So, that goes for everybody that's out there who've been, slept on, or, what I'm saying, you might not have, performed at your quote unquote, you might not have been able to outdo your last performance. And people are sleeping on you. And the vipers is beginning to viper, the snake, you know what I mean? The lions, then you beginning to see the snakes around you. Feel me? Because whenever sharks smell blood, they start to converge and whatnot. But just take that as a very, very, very quote unquote as a lesson. You know what I mean? Don't forget that lesson. Pay attention to what you being taught and whatnot. Motherfuckers is only there when they see that. You know what I mean? But you'll get your redemption. You have to work on you. That's what he had to do. He had to lock in and he had to perfect his craft and whatnot. You feel me? Because the people only love a winner. They not there to nurture the loser. They only there for the winner. So keep winning. You feel me? Keep winning. The only thing that matters is the W, nothing else. The only thing that matters that changes the conversation is the W. So focus on the W. Everything else is irrelevant. Okay? Everything else is irrelevant. The only thing that's relevant is when you show up that you do the motherfucker. You understand the assignment. All that other shit is just small talk. Just know when you show up, you understand the assignment and you deliver whatever it is. It could be fixing, you could be HVAC, you fixing that air conditioner. You got to show up like Lux and handle that air conditioner. You know what I'm talking about? It could be little league and whatnot. Whatever it is, just show up and be there. Yeah, I definitely need to see Lux in daylight. That's gonna be on levels that that's yeah, that's God tier. That's Quill versus the Lions. Then that's gonna be crazy. You know, Daylight is an alien right now. He's kind of different. I think he's gotten better over the years, to be honest with you. He's a problem. But yeah, what else is there to talk about? Let's see. Let me go to my page. One of the things that took place over this strong end, well, yeah, I showed you this lady right here. So Donald Trump promises to crush all of the pro-Palestinian college campus, all of that woke shit that people are talking about. Yeah, well, he's promising, he's telling his supporters, right? Because remember, in this election season, everybody needs money. So they have to dance. They got to dance with the devil. They have to put on for the quote unquote lobbyists, and they have to make promises. They have to shake hands, and they have to make commitments, right? They're not doing that in Black America. They're not doing that with the woke celebrities. They're not doing that with people who look like us. Nah, they're not even talking that reparations talk. They're like, nah, we don't even want to have that talk. But when it comes to getting that bag, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, they got to put on for you know who. So this is just showing you this lady and whatnot, and it's just showing you what the type of whore that these politicians are. So once again, for people who openly just give their energy to these politicians or these politicians, take your energy back, or just know that you co-signing something that you have no control over whatsoever. You feel me? You have no control over it whatsoever. Mexico elects first female president following deadliest election in the campaign in the country's modern history. They killed 37 candidates before they got this Jewish lady in the office, right? Here she goes. Brrr. That's the president of Mexico. Okay. So when you start seeing things going down in Mexico and it involves the 69 gods and whatnot, just know that the president got into power utilizing the quote unquote end of a rifle, right? This was quote, this was a takeover. This was a this was considered a coup d'etat, right? So Argentina has one of them. Mexico got one of them. I would say that the USA is a government run by them, regardless of what people may want to see, if they want to ignore it or not. But yeah, this government is run by the hook nose mafia. Okay. Make no mistake about it. Whatever you see on the surface is what they want you or what they allow you to see. But like I know, and all of those who do the due diligence to do a little bit of studying, you just got to go right beneath the surface. It's not even in the deep waters and whatnot. It's literally right underneath the water that you know who's running the show. Okay. You know who's running the show. Yeah, he knows who's running the show. Aubrey, tell him. Tell him. You dig? Tell him. So, yeah. But we'll have more conversations, dealing with some of the things that we spoke of as we move forward. I do want to, I want to have more conversations about just the spiritual path. I'm not speaking from the perspective of, once again, I'm not a guru. I'm not your leader. I'm not some enlightened being who sits around and meditates 12 hours a day. I'm a student. I'm learning myself, and I'm just sharing with you as I do that. And I'm willing to learn as well. However, I'm not willing to learn from too many people because I have to conserve, right? I have to conserve my mind. Imagine 10 people talking in your ear and whatnot. When you try to listen to one person, it's not going to work like that. You have to quiet the chatter and zero in and lock in to a doctrine that resonates with you, or rather, a teacher who's teaching the doctrine to resonate with you. It would become clearer. I don't even want to talk about the spiral of Aubrey, the liar. That's just evident for anybody that's paying attention that that Drake's is a rap. It's a rap, and I don't pray for nobody's downfall. Keep in mind, it is what it is. Like, he did it to himself. You know what I mean? He did it to himself. The fuck? He had a 15-year reign as a poser in the culture. You dig? In the culture. And that reign is now over. Because I think the level of exposing that took place, he doesn't know what to do to snap back from that. Well, there's a video. This must that it's a I'm gonna drop the link to it. Let me see if I can find it. But this video right here is definitely something to study. This is Larry Jackson being interviewed by Joe Budden, right? Larry Jackson being interviewed by Joe Budden. Okay. This is something to study. This is a nerd, right? A black nerd, right? What we call a blurred. He's one of the nerdiest dudes that I've ever seen in the music industry. He's might be the final boss of nerds. He might be the final boss of blurs, my genius. He was giving up a lot of game, a whole lot of game in this interview. Now, Larry Jackson is the CEO of Gamma, and he says it's a technology company, right? And Gamma is responsible for what you call it, Sexy Red, right? Gamma is considered to be a technology company. Larry Jackson was working in the music industry since he was 11. This nigga was working at a radio station at 11. You know what I mean? That's how locked in he is, right? He comes from a family of geniuses. Okay. His pops was in Silicon Valley and whatnot. He is he that people is like, oh, Sexy Red is a genius. I love Sexy Red. He is the brains. He's the Svengali. He is the genius behind this quote unquote brand that you know as Sexy Red. It's not her. I mean, give her credit for whatever she's doing, but it's not her. It's him. It's Gamma. Okay. Gamma. And he lays it down. It's not he gives it up. He's being interviewed by Joe Button, and he's giving up mad information about his history in the music industry, certain waves and whatnot. He is one of the people who brought streaming to the music industry. He's one of the ones responsible for the streaming evolution. Spotify, DSPs, digital streaming platforms. That's his work. Okay. That's his work. Not just him particularly, but his fingerprints is all over that. That's some of his work. And he comes up on underneath Clive Davis, pause, who I mentioned earlier is one of the main culprits when it comes to a lot of the quote unquote I would say perversion. I would say exploitation, right? The sexual exploitation that has taken over the music industry where black men and black women are being quote unquote essayed, raped, and other things. Now, there's a lawsuit that just dropped on Friday against P. Diddy, Aaron Hall, and Jodeci, right? And it's crazy. Shit is crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's with a minor European, a white girl, by the way, right? So here's what the video looked like. I don't want to get no strikes or nothing. But this is the interview, so when you see it, you know what it is. But Larry Jackson is the brains behind Sexy Red and that whole that movement that she's dealing with right now, where the little babies and the little girls are being targeted. The reason why they're being targeted, the reason why her music sounds like nursery rhymes, the reason why she shows up on children's algorithms is because Larry Jackson is a nerd who has mastered the digital realm of music. He's the one who has mastered this quote unquote new realm of how to take an artist and completely blow them up by utilizing algorithms, big data, and the quote unquote streaming platforms all around the world. He must be stopped. Rather, he needs to amplify somebody who can help and benefit and uplift our people. Why not Rhapsody? Why not Cyrock? Why not Mumu Fresh? Why not, Lizzie Jeff? Like, why do we have to go for the lowest hanging fruit? This man is not considered to be a non-intellectual. This man is not considered to be, he's not thirsty. It's not like he's broke or anything. He might be a billionaire. I don't know. I'm not counting his pockets, but I'm sure that he's worth a lot of money because his hands is in a lot of things throughout the history of the music industry. He was working at Apple with Beats, with the Beats headphones. Um, he's been at multiple labels and whatnot. He helped to sign some of your favorite artists and whatnot. The man has a resume. He has a very impressive resume. He's a heavy hitter. He is a heavy hitter in this business and whatnot. So, and he also dropped some shit about Drake in this interview where he said that Drake in this streaming era, right? Because remember, I showed, many of you probably haven't seen it because you wasn't in class with us when we were doing American Gods and whatnot. But I showed in the American Gods that there was something called. I'll Google it. I'll show you. It's not a secret. There was a fire in 2008. Okay. And this fire, right? It's called the Universal Fire of 2008. They say that's the day that the music industry died. Okay. So let's see, pull up the New York Times. Larry Jackson been a dirty undercover. Now he just switched up his clothing image, growing out his hair, and fully publicly embrace. Okay, I'm gonna do the research on him. I'm gonna do the research on him because when he brought up Clive Davis was his mentor, I already knew what I was looking at. So he's like a clean Diddy. You feel me? The way that he's talking about Clive Davis, I'm watching. I'm like, pause. I'm like, pause. I already know what's going on. That's zaddy to you, bro. You feel me? The way that you talking, like that's he's giving heavy zaddy energy. But yeah, he might be a pillow biter, you know. But check this out. The day that the music burned, it was the biggest disaster in the history of the music business, and almost nobody knew. This is the story of the 2008 Universal Fire. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this in the chat, the Chattanooga, so y'all could go ahead and read the story on your own, and you can enlighten others and you could share it with others because this is a learning lesson. This is something to teach others about because man, oh man, oh man, oh man, this shit right here. This is why they adapted to streaming because all of the masters were destroyed in this fire that conveniently took place on the backlot of Universal in quote unquote, I believe Hollywood, where they had, I'm talking about everybody, all of their masters burnt from Eminem to what I might have been a good thing, but everybody's shit burnt up, going all the way back to the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and all of that, right? So boom. Once you burn the masters, you can't necessarily keep pressing up vinyl and you can't necessarily press up the CDs anymore because the quality is compromised. What are you going to make? Are you going to make a mass? You're going to make you're going to use an already burnt CD to copy that? Like that's not how it works. So when this fire took place, they had to first of all dodge mad lawsuits. I don't know how they dealt with the lawsuits that came from that. You could get masters on Web3, no doubt. So what they decided to do, right, as a result of these masters burning up, is that they had to digitize the music now and say, you know what, we're going to overhaul the entire music industry and we're going to take all of these quote unquote masters and we're going to digitize them. And then now that we digitize them, they're going to be a part of this conglomerate called the streaming or the DSPs, the digital streaming platforms and whatnot. So instead of having a physical master, now the new master is going to be a digital file and whatnot, an MP3, right? So this is what we see. Now, coincidentally, around the same time, from this day on, this is 2008, mind you, right after that, who begins to die? Prince, Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, all of the greats start falling off one by one by one by one by one. These are the same people who would have rang the alarm and say, yo, uh, the my masters are burnt. They burnt my masters. Now, if Michael Jackson said that his masters are destroyed, it's gonna hit harder than you just reading about this shit in the newspaper and hearing about it. If it comes out of the mouth of one of the legacy artists like a Michael Jackson who spawns many different decades and whatnot, you're going to be taken aback. You'll be like, wait, what? What are you saying? Henceforth, why everybody's selling their catalog. Henceforth, why they got this AI shit in the music, generative AI about to start generating all of these artists and whatnot. Henceforth, why all of the companies began to get absorbed and folded into each other. Got to think about that. Okay, here we go. The Vault held masters for MCA, ABC, A&M, Geffen, and Interscope labels, and it held masters for a host of smaller subsidiary labels. Nearly all of these masters, in some cases, the complete discographies of entire record labels were wiped out in the fire. Okay. So in March 2009, a document marked confidential put the number of assets destroyed at 118,230. But then they had to readjust it to 175,000 range, right? And then they had to do a updated in another confidential report later issued in 2009. UMG asserted an estimated 500,000 song titles were lost. Okay. Let me give you a list of some of the names. Please don't get upset. I'm just sharing this information. Among the incinerated Decca Masters were recordings by titanic figures in American music: Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, Al Jolson, Bing Crosby, Ella Fitzgerald, and Judy Garland. The tape masters for Billie Holiday's Decca catalog were most likely lost in total. The fire most likely claimed most of Chuck Berry's chess masters and multi-track masters, a body of work that constitutes Berry's greatest recordings. The destroyed chess masters encompass nearly everything else recorded for the label and its subsidiaries, including most of the chess output of Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Willie Dixon, Bo Diddley, Etta James, John Lee Hooker, Buddy Guy, Little Walker. Right? I'm not finished. Virtually all of Buddy Holly's masters were lost in the fire. Most of John Coltrane's Impulse masters were lost, as were masters for Treasure Impulse releases by Ellington, Count Basie, Coleman Hawkins, Dizzy Gillespie, Max Roach, Art Blakely, Sonny Rollins. If my father heard this, this is all of his favorite artists. Like, he would go brazy in these streets. Like, Pharoah Sanders, The list of destroyed single and album masters, takes, and titles by dozens of legendary artists: Benny Goodman, Cap Calloway, Ray Charles, Sammy Davis Jr., Fats Dominoes, Loretta Lynn. So not only did they rob these artists, not only did they quote unquote conceive to take advantage of these artists, but they have burnt the masters of these legacy acts, right? In the streaming era. So remember, in the streaming era, where they could have basically been getting a whole lot of money and whatnot, they have now cut all of these quote unquote artists off from this new era. Henceforth, you don't see them pushing none of this old music in the new streaming era. They're not even licensing the samples. None of this shit is being, you're not seeing none of it. They're just giving you motherfucking from the P. Diddy era onward, if you really think about it. And then they're just pushing rap. Like they're just giving you Drake forward. So BB King, Ike Turner, the Four Tops, Quincy Jones, Neil Diamond, Sonny and Cher, the Mamas and the Papas, Joni Mitchell, Captain Beefheart, the Carpenters, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Al Green, Elton John, Eric Clapton, Jimmy Buffett, the Eagles, Aerosmith, Iggy Pop, Rufus, and Shaka Khan, Barry White, Patti LaBelle, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, The Police, Sting, REM, Janet Jackson, Eric B. and Rakim, New Edition, Bobby Brown, Guns N' Roses, Queen Latifah, Mary J. Blige, No Doubt, Nine Inch Nails, Snoop Dogg, Nirvana, Beck, Sheryl Crow, Tupac Shakur, Eminem, 50 Cent, and The Roots. Then there are masters for largely forgotten artists that were stored in the vault. Tens of thousands of gospel, blues, jazz, country, soul, disco, pop, easy listening, classical, comedy, and spoken word records that may now exist only as written entries in discographies. I'm not going to go on. You get the drift. You see what took place, right? Yeah. So these people are in contempt because they're trying to hide that shit. They don't never want you to know about this because your participation in their industry would probably not be the same. You know what I'm saying? They have desecrated the quote unquote memories and the hard works of of something that we hold near and dear to us. The music is sacred. You feel me? Somebody got paid for that loss. Man, let's just think about the insurance that they got on that. You feel me? Yeah. You want to know how much the appraisal was? Me too. You know, some people got big checks for that, right? Burnt down the trade centers, burnt down the housing market, burnt down the banks. You feel me? They just burning shit down. They just burning shit down, and then you get Drake. So in the interview with Larry Jackson tells Joe Button, he said Drake as a recording artist streams more than the 70s, the 60s, and the 50s artists combined. One artist. He does more on stream than all of the artists from the 60s, the 70s, and I think the 80s combined, right? So he's just giving Joe Button a heads up to what type of investment this man is to these conglomerates. He is not an artist, he is an investment. And when he asked him about the battle and whatnot, he was like, he brought up some shit about Big. Yo, you know, I smoked a blunt with Biggie and whatnot, and I'm still traumatized that we lost them. So I really don't want to talk about that. Henceforth, if Drake would have caught that W, you would not have heard none of these people trying to act kumbaya and say, yeah, I don't really want to talk about that no more. You know, let's get past that. How about those Cavs, man? How about those Mavericks? How about those Celtics? You know what I'm saying? They don't want to talk. They don't want to talk. They don't want to entertain that conversation because, like I said, the bet that they had on homie is too much. It's too much of a bet. They have too much invested in him. He represents this new machine and whatnot. This I believe that this whole machine was built around artists such as himself and a few others and whatnot. But it has a lot to do with the burning up of these masters, the destruction of our of a culture, of a whole culture of music. It ain't just hip hop, as you can see, blues, gospel, black music, melanated music, vibrations and frequencies and whatnot. The music don't sound the same on iTunes then it sounds the same on a 45 on a record player on a quote unquote when it's vinyl when it's wax. Don't sound the same. It don't have the same spirit. It don't have the same feeling. You know what I mean? So they are now they don't want you to hear that sound. They don't want you to feel that sound. They want you to have that digitized, broken down, compromised. Because you could insert all kind of information and data and then hidden frequencies into these fake ass streams and whatnot. Yeah, yeah. She only sold 28,000 copies and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? So it just goes to show it's hype. It's all bluff. It's Larry Jackson and them. They fluffing up the numbers. They're fluffing up the hype. They know how to do geo targeting. So every time you open up your computer, you're gonna see Sexy Red. They know how to place her because they figured out Larry Jackson and them have figured out how to manipulate the internet. So the geo targeting, the fact that if you just click on one thing, like if you just click on one thing related to her, every time you go online you're gonna see her. These facelifts African channels, and I don't have nothing against Africans, let's be clear, right? I'm not part of that whole African tether talk and everything. However, I do know that they got people who do not know shit about our culture, right? With these faceless channels that are macro influencers. They have 1 million followers. We talking about the Shade Room. We talking about Spiritual World. We talking about all of these faceless channels that are on IG and whatnot. They are not run by people who are considered to be connoisseurs of the culture. No, they're run by people who are like from the bad boy. You know what I mean? They're run by people who are for sale. They're for sale. The same way like the nigga who built up World Star Q, who died coincidentally, right? He wasn't a part of the culture like that. He was a part of the culture, but he's not a cultural connoisseur like that. You feel me? They're limited in what they know and what they don't know. That's like me getting into Afro beats right now. Yeah, I know Burna Boy and Tim's and some other people, but I don't know the intricacies of that culture. I don't know the deepness of that culture. I don't go that deep into Afro beats. I can't give you the intricacies. I'm not a connoisseur of it. I can't curate it properly. What the fuck do I know about it? And that's the same thing when it comes to these people with these faceless gossip sites or these faceless hip or rap channels or these faceless teas and whatnot. They don't know nothing. They don't. Yes, no different than academics doing the war on Chirac. It's a little Jamaican nigga that live in his mama basement. What do he know about the war on Chirac? But what he did was he amplified the violence. know what I mean, he helped boost the egos of these young killers and whatnot, who necessarily they wouldn't have been killing the way that they was killing if they didn't have all of that hype. They was getting pushed. They had millions and millions and millions of people on Twitter and on YouTube encouraging them to keep the war going, to catch a body. Don't come back until you body something, nigga. We not, you know what I mean? Don't come back until you kill your ops. We don't want to hear from you until you kill something. You feel me? That's why I like battle rap, because you're metaphorically killing something. You know what I mean? You're lyrically killing something. In drill rap, you're literally killing something. You're not metaphorically, you're not lyrically trying to kill something. You're trying to kill something and then get on the track and be like, I killed something. Who was betting on Adrian Broder last night? That's your man's. To this day. Him and Deontay Wilder about to have a podcast series called "On My Ass," on my two back pockets. Reporting live from my two back pockets. The Knockout Hour. Toothless Radio. What the fuck? They gonna have a new podcast called Toothless Radio. The fuck? Adrian Yona, if you don't sit your ass down, Adrian Broner, you a weirdo online talking all you selling all of them wolf tickets. They need to start a reality show on Tubi. God damn. But I saw the fight. He looked bad, but he ain't look that bad. He ain't look that bad. He just got his shit rocked a few times. You know what I'm talking about? But that's your man's in him. You know what I mean? That is your man's in him. Got his shit touched. Oh, he was wolfing so heavy. It's usually the ones that be wolfing the most, man. That just once again learning lesson message, right? It's the big mouth. It's the ones with the biggest mouth. They write checks that they ass cannot cash. Be intimidated by these quiet ones. They the killers. Be intimidated by the ones that ain't bragging and boasting, and they just got that weird ass stare and whatnot with the fucking with you can see past the with the yeah. Watch out for them. It's the ones that are always bragging, and the loudest one in the room is not the most powerful one. That's not the most dangerous one. They keep showing you that time after time after time. You feel me? Yeah, it wasn't that bad, but he was on defense the whole night. He wasn't on offense. And if you talking all of that shit, you supposed to be walking niggas down. You're not supposed to be. I didn't even see his face the whole time. It was just his gloves up the most of the fight. He just had them damn gloves. He had the mittens up getting his shit rocked most of the night. So it's like, nah, fam, you was looking crazy out there. You flabby and sick. You don't have, your boxing, your whole boxing body is gone. And Deontay Wilder, they wild both of them up in the span of a few weeks. You know what I'm talking about? So, it's a changing of the guard, y'all. It's a changing of the guard. Certain eras are over with. You know what I mean? Pack it up. You know what I'm talking about? Pack it the fuck up. We're in a whole new era. We're in a whole new age. He knocked his mouthpiece out in the second round. He knocked the tooth out as well. Yeah, he knocked the mouthpiece out in the second, and then he went for the 10-round decision. But by the time he got to the 10th round, my goodness, it was bad. It was bad. It was bad, yo. It was real bad. He was getting his shit touched up. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But I'm sure we got more to talk about. We will return on Melanin Monday. No, matter of fact, we might give you Sacrilegious Sundays tomorrow. We might be back for Sacrilegious Sundays. I want to say a rest in peace to two people. One is one of my OGs. I just saw him in New York, And on Fulton Street when I went to talk at Nicholas, I randomly was walking down the block going to get some Jamaican food because Atlanta, it's not the same. The Jamaican food don't hit the same like it do in Brooklyn. So I saw my bro in a barber shop. He was cutting hair on Fulton Street, and the brother goes by the name of Jay out of Clinton Hills. When I lived in Clinton Hills back in like 91 with the brother A Rashid, I was staying with him and his mother and his brother and them for a few months. The brother Jay he was older than me, but he was somebody who I looked up to. And when he saw me, he was he was giving me my flowers. He was excited. You know what I mean? Like he made me, feel like I was doing something for the trenches because he doesn't, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh shit, you know what I'm out here doing? That's crazy. That's what's up, bro. I appreciate that. And he made me feel real good about myself that night. You know what I mean? He made me feel real relevant, to the cause. And the cause for me is to, touch people who people don't necessarily want to touch. You know what I mean? The cause for me is to be able to attract people with my face card who know me from the streets or know me and my brother from the underworld and whatnot. You know what I mean? The fact that I got people tuning in and tapping in from my former life and whatnot, and I'm encouraging them and they proud of me. Like that's what I'm here for. That's what I do this for. Like that's really who I'm standing up in front of when it all boils down. You know what I mean? Because it is what it is. You know what I mean? So he made his transition. And then there's an elder who is my mother's friend and who embraced me and my brother and also would give us a lot of insight, a lot of appraisal. You know what I mean? He made me feel valuable. You know what I mean? And this brother is a legend, not just in New York City, but around the world. He has a radio show. This is brother Leroy Baylor and whatnot from the Nation of Islam, an icon in Harlem, an elder, a giant, you feel me? And he made transition as well. And it's one of those things, you know what I'm saying, where, we have to definitely cherish these encounters because you don't know when it'll be the last time. The last time I seen Baba, Leroy was right there on Linux selling newspapers. You feel me? And we talked. You feel me? We talked. We had conversation. He asked me how my mother was doing. I was like, she's doing great, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you. I hugged him up. I might even bought one of the final calls from him and whatnot. And I didn't, man, in my mind, I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna see him again. You know what I mean? Because I've said it before, like Harlem, there's a changing of the guard in New York. A lot of the elders are walking through those gates. You know what I mean? They're like, yo, this shit is too futuristic. It's moving too fast. The rent is too high. The stress is too high. The youth are crazy. Like a lot of them are saying, you know what? I've done my work, you know what I mean? I'm good, you know what I'm saying? So that's another library, that's another giant. That's another person who would have appeared in our documentary who will not be in that documentary. And it's just it's heavy on the heart. That's the best thing that I could say. It's heavy on the heart, bro. It's like I'm trying to catch people before they walk through them gates, and it's not easy, you know. I'm racing against time, bro. So, that's just something that I had to put out there to let everybody know. There may be somebody that's listening to this who knows these brothers and they may need to know this information about them. So, yeah, that part, you know what I mean? So, I'm going to tap out with this song right here, 4:44 a.m. featuring me and Blue Pill off of the album. You know what I mean? We got to keep the flames going. We got to keep the torch lit. You know what I mean? We can't allow anything to stop us. It's even giving me more of an incentive to do what I need to do because it reminds me that I'm not here forever. So, with that being said, I want to say good night to the family. If you feel it in your heart, hit up the Cash App. I would appreciate any support that y'all give the channel because you know that goes into the building of the channel. Oh yeah, before we do get out of here, let me go ahead and show you this new broadcast channel that I want y'all to tap into. Right, this right here is connecttoyourcity.com. Right, we're gonna scroll down right here. Boom. So we got Melanin Monday. We on multiple channels, right? Multiple channels have picked us up. We're literally in front of 1 million people a week. I shit you not. Literally, I got the numbers. We're gonna be looking for advertisers very, very soon. But yeah, this shit is going crazy. So we got Brother Sankofa and Red Pill on Deprov TV. And then we have, let me scroll down. Melanin Mondays right here. Boom. KTL Plus. Yeah, feel me? KTL Plus. So we showing the art. We got the whole archives up in this biatch.
I do. So at least you could come forward and help us build some fucking apps with the D-Wave machine. So before we get started,
yeah, that's some vintage Red Pill. You dig? I'm gonna drop the link for this right here. This is free. Don't feel, you know what I mean? You could put this on Fire Stick, Roku. This is for your TV screen. It's bigger than YouTube. You dig? This is bigger than YouTube and whatnot. So yeah, connecttoyourcity.com. Go ahead and be part of those 1 million plus people that are watching us, that are tapping into us. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And what a way to bounce back after they take your channel. You know, I got some good people around me who made some moves for us and got us on these networks. And now when we on a network, we blew up on this network overnight and different people picked us up because KTL Plus was one of the biggest channels. It just exploded. You know what I mean? It exploded. And that's a beautiful thing. That just goes to show that content is king. Content is king. Yes, they have broadcasting for everyone. Yes, they do. They do. I promise you, for all of it, for everybody listening, you want to see some dope melanated content that you're not going to see on YouTube and you're not going to see in other places, go to connectyourcity.com. We're going to be giving some creatives the opportunity to stream on our channel as well, to be part of our broadcasting, because we have it programmed so it's 24/7. So we have slots and whatnot. We have quote unquote time slots. So yes, you can come through and you could be a part of this, and we're just beginning. So, you know, thank you for your support on that, and we're going to keep building. You dig? I almost forgot about that, to remind y'all that we on connecttoyourcity.com. And once again, like I said, Roku Fire Stick, put that on a Sean Kingston 100-inch screen TV. You know what I'm talking about? Put that on a flat model. Put that on the tablet. Whatever it is that you connect to is big boy TV right now. So with that being said, 4:44 a.m. off the new album, 48 Pillars of Power. We will see you mañana, inshallah. Peace.
Chill. Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 We watching the justification of the scrubbing of nations, destruction of ancients by government agents, smudging, cutting, buffet of fragrance.
It's tough like the crust of crustaceans. Good luck trying to muster the patience. They stuck after rushing and racing. Good nut is such a sensation. Erupt in much adulation. Pull up, they stuck in the basement. On their mama's sofa, no sir. Get around some culture. We outside around utopia. Surrounded by cornucopia. Abundance overflow. At function sociable and open toe Birkenstocks. With purple socks. Suspenders like how Urkel rocks. It's on and poppin'. We on and rock.
Bring that back. That boy spitting. What he talking about?
Yeah.
We got the lyric
Yeah.
too, so you can read along. Let's
Yeah.
go.
We watching the justification of the scrub of the nations. Destruction of.
And we got a radio station too. I mean, goddamn, there's so much going on. I'm have to bring Blue Pill on because I be forgetting shit. Yes, we have a radio station along with our streaming platform on Connectia City. We got the radio station. So we're looking for content, right? As long as you have all of your shit together, your ISBN numbers, your BMI and all the ASCAP and whatnot, holla at your people. We getting into sync. We getting into sync publishing and whatnot. So we doing a radio thing. You know what I mean? Radio. Let's go. Let's talk about it.
Cheer. Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 We watching the justification of the scrub of the nations. Destruction of ancients by government agents. Smudging cutting buffer of fragrance. It's tough like the crust of crustaceans. Good luck trying to muster the patience. They stuck after rushing and racing. Good nut is such a sensation. Erupt in much adulation. Pull up, they stuck in the basement. On their mama's sofa, no sir. Get around some culture. We outside around utopia. Surrounded by cornucopia. Abundance overflow. At function sociable and open toe Birkenstocks. With purple socks. Suspenders like how Urkel rocks. It's on and poppin'. We on and rockin'. So we spawned a doctrine and born an option. To perform like Cochran on the world's biggest stage. We perform like Rodman, got it on and poppin'. We perform and rockin' like corn is poppin'. Shit, they still amazed. We still behave when fame go to niggas' heads like the illest waves. We sit in days, yeah, they still got motion like Willie Mays. We just ante up like Billy Dance and Little Fame. Mash out entire posses with a little wave. A flick of the wrist, and the stick's gonna spit. Leave them stiffer than legs like me sticking dick to a chick. Come and riddle me this. It's like my sixth sense was activated. I see dead people decapitated. I see billions, they dilapidated. I see children, they evaporated. I see millions, they evacuated. I see billions and these tax evaded. We living in the world of supervillains. I just had to say it. I refuse to be used and acclimated, encapsulated and then captivated by attacks on these captivated. Man, the facts were stated. They castigated the blacks that made it. Black Wall Street was extrapolated. Trap or die, now they trapped in basements. Damn, these niggas is decaffeinated with half a payment from Zionists and they cracker agents. Yeah, these rapper agents and these tracks was flagrant, selling crack and fragrance. Yeah, they crack the pavement and they lack the language to attract the ancients, and they acting dangerous like they snacking Cambridge. They Captain Kangaroo niggas, they just acting famous. Thou shalt remain nameless. But I know brainiacs and they be acting brainless. And I know maniacs and they be acting stainless. 95 had the max on trainers. 96 Mad Max retainer. Yeah, no brainers. That's more bodies than Britney Rayner. And we misbehaving from a different world. In the way of Miss Whitney razors. 3 cuts in your eyebrows. When we spit these razors. When we spit these razors.